Are your vinyl records really analog and does it matter? This time, I venture warily into audiophile territory to explore the continuing resurgent interest in vinyl records and the ongoing analog versus digital debate. Being authentic matters. In 2022, the MoFi scandal sent shockwaves through the hardcore vinyl community when it was revealed that the record label had been using some digital technology in its mastering process. After paying a premium price for what they thought were limited edition all-analog releases, vinyl enthusiasts were furious that they had been misled by the company when they discovered it had not been using a purely analog process, and it had been doing so for several years. MoFi's lack of transparency was the key issue here. It wasn't as though the records suddenly sounded rubbish after the truth was revealed. The records in question were of exceptionally high audio quality, but used a direct-streamed digital DSD step, where the source file is converted to a very high sampling rate, digital format before cutting the master disc. Analog is physical, and that's the problem. Unlike digital recordings, which can be cloned indefinitely, analog tape degrades over time, so you can't make endless copies from the original master tape and expect a similar product, which is why first issues of original vinyl albums are highly prized. Collectors of vinyl records today are not necessarily aware of the ins and outs of the record-making process. Also, some people will buy them not to listen to, but as an investment, to resell later, unopened. For true analog audio aficionados, it's not just the record-making process that's important. The signal path extends to the hi-fi system you listen on. To get as close as possible to an all-analog experience, you need a tube amplifier, which have a warm and lush tone compared to solid-state amps. Then you'll need some high-sensitivity speakers, and to complete the listening experience, a good quality turntable. The compression factor. Serious record collectors often find little difference in sound between recent vinyl releases and the CD version, as the albums are likely to have been cut from the same digital masters. While high-definition digital audio files, which include some CDs such as those produced by MoFi, might be comparable to original vinyl, digital remastered vinyl today is likely to be heavily compressed. Although digital has a wider dynamic range, compression is used to have digital audio sounding acceptable across different media formats, including listening to streaming music on your earbuds, via your laptop speakers, or in your car. Some streaming services, including Tidal and Apple Music Lossless, now offer higher definition audio, but mastering is the key. High-res formats only preserve fidelity when the mastering allows it. Timing might be everything. Listening to a music production podcast recently, I heard a mastering engineer say how incredibly sensitive our ears are to timing. So I was interested in discovering the work of neuroscientist William Softke and his concept of microtime in How Science Got Sound Wrong. In his article, Softke says that while digital recording samples at a fixed rate, our nervous system responds to a single bit of the sound wave amplitude at exactly the time it arrives, and that these microseconds can make a difference in a biological sense, even if not consciously audible. This is where hard science collides with the messier world of neuroscience. Audio engineers who consider digital signal theory to be well-established and quote the Nyquist theorem consider Softke's explanation to be bunkum. Softke also argues that hearing and locating sounds is a whole-body experience. For example, we know that very low frequencies, below our range of hearing approximately 20 Hz, are felt rather than heard, as our body contains widespread vibration sensors in the skin and in deeper tissues. And ask any singer who goes into a recording studio for the first time and hears the difference between their recorded voice, which travels through air, and the more resonant voice, which includes bone conduction through headphones. The vinyl experience. Vinyl record sales have been on a steady upward trajectory since around 2007. And it's not just because of Generation X or earlier nostalgia. The current popularity of vinyl is reported to be driven by Gen Z seeking a balance in their digital lives. The attraction of vinyl is clear. It's a ritual, an event. Admire the artwork, slide out the record, place it on the turntable, drop the needle, and then settle back and enjoy the listening experience, including the sounds of subtle distortion and imperfections. Vinyl provides a sensory experience that goes beyond just listening, and most vinyl music lovers are not die-hard all-analog fanatics. and anyone who enjoys listening to music beyond an MP3 level is generally not thinking about digital/analog processing. What matters more is listening to well-produced music on a decent sound system.